tonight, last night, Ryan Garcia completely and utterly dominates Devin Haney. And it was a little bit bittersweet for me because I had Devin Haney winning by TKO anywhere from rounds 8 to 12. But sweet in the sense that low key, I was rooting for Ryan Garcia. I just did not believe he was going to do what he did last night. It was absolutely phenomenal, and we got to give lots of credit to Derek James. Did an outstanding job improving his technique. Look at this left hook. Bang! Before the fight, I said Ryan Garcia had a good left hook. Okay, not a great one. But from his fight with Tank, Derek James has improved Ryan Garcia's punch technique. He tightened up that left hook, and it was so effective last night. He threw it the way exactly how he needs to throw it moving forward. And if he lands that shot on anybody, he can put their lights out. That's for sure. Another thing that was very impressive from both Derek James and Ryan Garcia was there was a drastic improvement in his footwork. He was a lot more controlled. He was a lot more measured. Okay, as opposed to that fight with Tank and when Goosen was his trainer, I did not think he was going to be able to improve that in such a short period of time, especially against a guy who's known to be a master. Well, I shouldn't say a master of footwork, but somebody who's known to have good footwork and good movement in Devin Haney. So this absolutely took me by shock, and sky's the limit for Ryan Garcia. And I got to give lots of credit to Derek James and apologize. I thought he was an overrated trainer, but last night I cannot say that, and I have to eat my words and I have to man up and say I was completely wrong about these two. But the sky's the limit for Ryan Garcia. I still think there's a lot of things he needs to work at. He still needs to work on managing distance. He still needs to work on controlling himself a little bit more and being patient and building a game plan. But imagine if he can improve those aspects of his game. And even if he doesn't, sometimes I have to admit myself, okay, I give a little bit too much credit to ring IQ, okay, and technical ability. Sometimes if you're very talented, okay, and you have good technique to match that talent, that can take you a long way. That can make you an absolutely great fighter. And that just may be what Ryan Garcia is. He may not be the smartest guy in the ring. He may not be the most technical or the guy with the highest ring IQ. But and don't get me wrong, I don't want to take anything away from him. I'm not saying Ryan Garcia has no ring IQ, but I'm saying it may not be the highest. He may not ever be the high IQ guy, right? Who goes in the ring, but he is very talented physically, okay, and athletically as a boxer. And with Derek James helping him improve his footwork and his technique, he could be a force to be reckoned with. And he kind of falls in that category of being a boxer puncher. He falls in that category. Okay, he's not this technician and he's not a brawler. He kind of falls in between those both. He's a boxer puncher. And boxer punches can go very far in the sport. So, huge night for Ryan Garcia. I knew that he had the potential to land that big shot and possibly even hurt Haney, but I didn't think he was going to be able to win a 12 round fight. And Haney did, after he got buzzed the first time, he did box his way back into the fight. He had some rounds he got under his belt, but once Ryan Garcia caught him with another combination, that's all she wrote, and Ryan completely and utterly dominated the fight. I think it was very disgraceful. Who was that? Harvey Dock, or I don't know his name, but the referee was terrible. You can tell he was probably getting paid, okay, to sabotage the fight. You can tell they were trying to give Haney as many opportunities to win the fight as possible. Gave him time to recover every time he got buzzed. Uh, One of the judges had it called it even, and I understand that Haney had some rounds he got under his belt, but you can't get knocked down what 5 times, 3 to 5 times, and expect to have a draw or win a fight. That is absolutely crazy. And I have to say, I wasn't convinced at any point, even when Haney was winning some rounds. I never felt like he had control over the fight. I never felt like he He was winning significantly. Now there were some moments that were concerning for Ryan Garcia. There was times I was concerned whether he was going to punch himself out. It looked like he got tired. He would do that terrible little shoulder roll and he would turn his back, or Devin Haney was walking him down in some of those earlier rounds. But once again, once Ryan Garcia landed another big shot, the momentum completely shifted, and Ryan Garcia completely took over and became the ring general. And it almost boosted his energy because there were times we were looking at Ryan Garcia like, oh man, he's kind of punching himself out. But once he landed another big shot, that kind of gave him that adrenaline boost to get himself mentally back in the game. And even before that, when he got clipped by a big shot, I think it was a big left hook, a leaping left hook by Devin Haney. He was there. I mean, he wasn't playing. Before the fight, he said, I'm coming in there to come out with his head. And he was not kidding when he said that before the fight. And sometimes you just got to go in there and be a dog. And that's what Ryan Garcia did. And although I give Devin Haney a little bit of credit, right? He was tough enough to get up and keep on trying to fight, even though he was afforded many opportunities. Because in most cases, the fight would have been stopped from there to protect the fighter's health. And, it was pretty obvious that he was kind of out on his feet for a while. So you got to give Haney, he's a pretty tough kid. But I did not see a dog in Devin Haney. You know, he could take a beating pretty damn well. But it's not just about taking a beating. Can you step up? Okay. Can you step up and start squaring up to your opponent and start throwing down? And we did not see that by Devin Haney. And part of the problem is he doesn't know how to square up. He only knows how to fight one way, and that's on the outside and poking and prodding with the jab. But that becomes an issue when you face more longer, rangier opponents who you're not going to have that advantage against. You can, and that's something I foresee as a huge problem for Devin Haney in the future, especially if he's going to have to move up in weight, and he may not have an option because how long can he stay at the weight class he is and drain himself? You're going to have to face bigger, rangier guys who can box, who have power, and you're not going to be able to sit on the outside. So what are you going to do if you do not know how to square up and make opponents miss and box on the inside or from that mid range? So this is very concerning for Devin Haney. I'm not saying he's not going to bounce back because we didn't think Ryan was going to bounce back from Tank. We didn't think Tiafimo was going to bounce back from his loss to Cambosis. Okay, so I wouldn't count Devin Haney out. I think he will be back. I think he has something to prove, and I think we're going into a new era of boxing where it's not the end all be all if you take a loss. But I will say this: his boxing style, his attributes, and his mentality. I don't think it's so much the mentality to worry about, but his boxing style and his attributes. I think there should be a little bit of concern. He's going to have to pick and choose his fights very carefully. I do think we'll see a rematch with these guys, and honestly, I think it'll be the same result. Even if Ryan Garcia doesn't come in overweight at the weigh-ins, I think last night he would have won the belt. But I think this matchup was just all wrong for Haney after seeing what I saw last night, and I think Haney, there's a lot for him and his team to be worried about, and shame on his dad for keeping him in the ring. You know, you might have taken years off his career. I understand that they wanted to protect his record, but at the end of the night, I believe he was going to retain his belt. Okay, there was no reason for him to keep getting pounded with left hooks and right hands and take that punishment. Go back to the drawing board. If you're Haney's dad, stop the fight and go back to the drawing board, heal up, and hopefully Ryan Garcia have a stipulation to where he must come in to the fight on weight and have at it again. Okay? But there was no reason for Devin Haney to take the punishment he did last night. He's a tough kid, but there was nothing in my estimation that he was going to do to win that fight. He just did not look like he was the better fighter in any realm. And I will even say this, he even looked slow last night. It looks like he put on too much muscle, and that's, once again, that's concerning. You have to go up in weight, and You don't look as quick, you don't look as fast, you looked a little slow, and it looks like you are very limited when you have to face a guy who has just as much range and reach as you. So lots of concerns for Devin Haney, but I wouldn't count him out. Like I said, we've seen Tiafimo bounce back. We've seen Ryan Garcia bounce back. So I think Haney can bounce back, but I think they're going to have to be very careful how they move forward. Okay, which they've kind of been doing to him throughout his career. I think they got caught off guard with Ryan Garcia, and Ryan Garcia turns out to be a mad genius. We all thought he was crazy, or a lot of us thought he was crazy. And for me, I was kind of on the fence. I couldn't tell whether he was absolutely out of his mind or he was dealing with CTE or maybe he was crazy like a fox. But last night he definitely proved that there was a method to all the madness and he was crazy like a fox. And it definitely worked. This is a historic fight, okay, of this era. And yeah, I would love to see the rematch one more time. Hopefully it'll be for a belt. And I'd love to see the rematch with Tank at one point. So comment down below, like the video, subscribe, tell me what you thought about the fight, tell me what your prediction was, and if you got it right. This is your boy Havoc, find around, get at me.